How do you know which words to use in your copy? Hey everybody, Braden Chase here, and I wanted to kind of share this story with you and maybe even rant a little bit about this. So I'm sorry if this one gets a little bit long, but I need to explain this a little bit. So recently I was talking with a friend about their messaging and their copy and their branding and those kinds of things, and we're discussing it, and he's like, but what are the right words? What should I say here? What should I say there? Is this a good word? Is that a bad word? Like what should I do? And it was interesting because as I'm sitting there and kind of talking to him a little bit, I'm waiting. I'm like, well, what do your people say? And he's like, well, I don't know, right? We got to use this word. Is this a good word to use there? And I'm like, no, stop. That's not how it works, right? You don't get to decide how other people talk. So you don't get to decide what to put in your copy, right? They determine what goes in the copy. The way that your people talk is how you need to talk. And that's just how we answer those things. And it was interesting because they were asking about a particular word, and I'm like, that's a great word. You can use it this way. A lot of people use it. I see a lot of people using that word right now. But then I looked at it and he's like, but over here, nobody uses that word and it doesn't really fit with our accent, right? So it wasn't an American, it was a different language, right? Or a different dialect of English. And they're talking about it and they're like, so I can't use this word, but everyone else uses this word. I'm like, okay, you're in a different market, right? You're in a different area. You're in a different dialect of English. What do your people say? What are their words? And he's like, I don't know. I'm like, go find out. That's what you need to figure out. You don't get to decide if this is a good word or a bad word, if this word will sell or this word will not sell. It's your market that determines that. So another guy was asking about his client. He's like, I've got this client and he's trying to force me to do all the perfect grammar and it just doesn't work. I need to write like the people on Facebook. And I'm like, stop. You're both wrong. Okay, that's not how it works. It's not the Facebook people that are right, and it's not the university scholars who are right. That's not how it works. You talk like the people you're trying to reach. If you're a university professor and you're trying to reach other university professors, you need to speak in that line. But if you're a university professor trying to talk to your students, you need to speak in that line. If you're a university professor and you're trying to talk to I don't know, I'm kind of just making this up right now, but like if you're just trying to talk to computer programmers, but you teach English, right? You got to speak differently. You have to use different words. Not because you feel like it, not because this sells better or doesn't sell better, but because those are the words that connect with them. Those are the words that mean something to them, and therefore that's what you need to use. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense to you guys. That's the key in this whole process. It's not what's the right word, it's what are the words they are using. Because if you can get those words, then you can connect with them. And if you can connect with them, then you can help them. And if you can help them, then they'll pay you money for it, right? Because that's how the business functions. We all have like an art of whatever it is that we do, whether we're marketers or we're business or we're trying to help single moms or we're trying to help professional dads or we're trying to help finance people or we're trying to help supplement seller people, like whatever it is, there's people that we're trying to help. Hey Scott, nice to see you. We're trying to help specific people, and we need to maximize our art in that helping of those people. Okay, so if there's a word that you're using and it's somehow offensive to them, well, pull it out. Right? And like the classic example that you go into that's really obvious, that almost everybody knows this one, is the word football. In America, football means something, and it's got a core, deep idea, right? It's like the largest sport in the country, and money, and millions going into all these different things, and people, and spokesmen, and all this stuff going on. Football's huge. You go to England, and the same word has completely different meaning, no connection to the American understanding of it, right? And that's massive. And the same thing happens, these deep cultural connections happen to every single word in every single language. Sometimes those things overlap. Right? And that's fine. Like between English and American English and British English and Australian English, the demonstrable, measurable differences is like less than 2%. Like almost everything's identical. Okay? Like, this is linguistics. I can prove that. Okay? But that 2% on the language level isn't very big. But on the cultural level, there are some massive changes. And if you hit the wrong chord, it's wrong, right? If you've got an entire orchestra of people, everyone's going perfectly, all the violins match, except for that one guy, everything's wrong. And that's how you need to match those words. You need to match those keys. You need to match that sound. You need to match the vocabulary, not to, is this the right word or is that the right word, but is this the right psychology? Am I walking the person through the correct psychology? What is the correct psychology, right? That's the big question. What is the correct psychology in this process? Okay, now what words help and guide through that psychology? That's what we're going for. We don't go, what's the right word to put here? You're 2 steps too far. You got to figure out, what's the psychology I need to go through? What are the things that they're stressed about? What are their problems? What are their false beliefs? What restrains them? What restricts them? What holds them back? What are those things? And you need to identify those, and then you go look at the words. And then you go, okay, these are the words that help people break out, or this is the story in this way with these words that help people overcome that problem. It's not about the words, it's about the psychology. And then you use the words to make the psychology happen. That's the key, and that changes. Even if you go from like New York to California, or from California to Florida, or Florida to New York, you'll find changes in the words that you need to use because of the cultural understanding and psychology that's prevalent in those areas. And it just gets bigger the farther out you go. If you go to Britain, then you have other things going on. If you go to Scotland, you have other things going on. If you go to New Zealand, you have other things going on. South Africa, you have other things going on. So it's not like, oh, I'll use this one word and it'll apply to all English speakers in the entire planet. No, it doesn't work that way. You go for the psychology, and the psychology is governed in great part by the culture. And then the culture and the psychology you then attach to words, their words. And then you can actually help somebody by reaching in and using the words that they use. Okay, sorry, I know this was a bit of a rant for everybody, so I apologize if that was longer than usual. But it's a big deal. Using the right words is important, but using the right psychology is more important. And if you don't know the right psychology, you can't use the right words. So get in deeper when you're trying to figure out who's your dream customer and who's the person you're trying to guide or to help or to sell to, or whatever it is that you're doing. You got to dig deeper than just, what's the right word here? Okay? Go farther than that. Okay? Sorry. Again, this is a little bit of a rant. I apologize again. If you got any questions, post underneath, and I would love to help you with this, right? Because as you can tell, I'm a little fired up about it. Normally I don't post this early, but I just it's going in my head, right? I need to talk about this and share this with you guys. So, thank you very much. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.